What's going on, everyone? It's OxxyOG, and today we got a 15 Floodgate. We're running the Slayer build here, the typical one for the new M Plus changes. Made a video on that. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. It's in the recent videos. Also running Ara-Kara Sack Brood and the Pacemaker here. So, boy, this dungeon felt so good this time. I don't know what it was. I turned on like my brain for once, but yeah, I'm just going to go over a couple of things that I think are important, as now that Ara-Kara and Halls of Atonement have been nerfed, I fully believe this and Priory are the hardest dungeons in the pool. So I think it's important to go over some important things that I do to try to help overcome this in a pug setting, because it's a pretty crazy dungeon. First thing is this first pack. This first pack is where a lot of this dungeon's failures happen. There's plenty of other places too, but this is one of them. Now, you can't do anything about like your tank just falling over, but one of the things that tend to kill people is easy throw dynamites, and the when they get double cast on someone. So let's say, for example, if both of the ads that cast it were to target my my mage and throw at the same time both of them, without a defensive, the mage is going to die. If that happens to your healer's dead, and now you're probably dead. Maybe not you, but most likely your tank. The surveying beams need to be kicked, very important. So a couple things I do because I fully believe that in a pug setting, it's up to you to be the difference between timing it and not timing it. Of course, there's things that sometimes you can't control, but we're not out here to make excuses for why we didn't time it. We're out here to try to time as many keys as we can. So let's talk about what we can do. Number one, you can hold onto your shockwave for when you see the same person being targeted by both of the dynamites. That's something that I tend to do a lot. Number two, make sure that you hold your kick to get a surveying beam that you know is going to go off. I try to hold till late because people tend to kick quick, and if I kick quick, I'm going to overlap with them, and now we're without a kick. Number three, it's very important in like group settings and very high keys to hard focus and cleave off of the people that you see in these dungeons with like the purple nameplates, because they're considered high health enemies. So you want to cleave off of them so that everything dies kind of evenly, or else you'll end up at the very end dealing with just the last ad that has a ton of health. I found that in a pug setting, I find it way more important to just target whatever is the ad that's going to have the highest chance of bricking the key. Might not be optimal, but the worst case is you target the high health ad, the one with like the purple or pink health bar, and somebody gets hit by a kick that you should have gotten and you didn't swap to the nameplate or whatever fast enough, and you brick the key. Best case, I hard target the ad that I need to die so that we don't have to worry about the kick anymore, and then I just lose 10 seconds on having to kill the high health ad at the end of the pack. I think that that's a way better trade-off. Of course, in the highest of runs, this isn't really the most optimal strategy, but to be honest, it can get you very far. I do it when we don't have a kick on the healer, like a shaman, for example. I find that to be really important, is we don't have that extra kick, so I'm going to just target whoever it is. Then I can stormbolt them immediately. I can kick them. I can also nuke them down so that we don't have to deal with the kicks anymore. Because the longer a pack goes on, the higher chance that people are going to overlap kicks. They're going to miss kicks. They're going to not pay attention. And I find myself, I don't use like a mouse over macro or anything. I literally just click and swap and then kick. And so sometimes I click the wrong nameplate. I do all kinds of things, and so sometimes I'm just gonna hard focus, like the guy that casts the surveyor beam, and I'm gonna watch for if somebody gets a double dynamo, so I can either rally and cry to keep them alive, hopefully, or I can use a shockwave to stun it and get them hopefully to focus on two separate people. So that's one of my big tips for this dungeon. Now, if you're pushing like 20s right now, you probably have a group, to be honest, so you're not really worried about kicks, because you guys are like having someone most likely call out kick orders and things like that. So this won't be applicable to everyone, but I hope that it helps. Just, you don't need to focus the shredders here. They're really not even that scary. scary things that typically will brick your key is going to be like the dynamo guys, the surveying beam, the divers that cast harpoon that needs to be kicked, or else somebody gets pulled into one of these little bombs on the ground, things like that. Let's talk bosses. So first boss you typically will go to is the duo boss, Kiza and Bront. They're not too bad. One of the things that make it a little awkward for me that I've noticed in the past, and you'll see it, I think it happens to me in this pool, is when you're on the second charge, when you get targeted with the, so not the charge where you send Bront away the first time, but after that. It's right as a BBG comes out, or whatever. The gun that shoots in the, like, when that comes out and there's red circles on the ground, everybody always freezes up when they get targeted and they're too scared to do anything. What I want you to do if you get targeted with that second one is immediately, already you have to know ahead of time so you don't have to think about it and you can just act. But ahead of time, you need to know where you need to go to have Bront go to. Just assume you're going to get targeted by it and just start thinking about where you need to go and leap there immediately. The red circles on the ground will not kill you. They don't blow up in that time frame. And the BBG gun doesn't go off in that time frame either. Now, obviously, don't leap into a red circle, but you can leap like over them and through them, and you'll be just fine. So give that a shot, see how it goes. Big Mama feels great. Make sure that you have a Blade Storm to get overwhelmed on the little drones that come down each time that they're up, because that's going to be how you farm out your Reap procs. If they don't have overwhelm, you're really only going to have a 20% chance. Or I'm sorry, it would be a, I don't even know what's my math right now. You're gonna have a much lower chance if Big Mama's the only one that has overwhelm stacks, because it's only gonna proc. It would be a 20% chance. Yeah, I'm crazy. I'm out of my mind. My math's off. So you have a much higher chance if you have overwhelmed on all of the ads around you, so that when you cleave it, it stacks up, and you know. Let's see. So I know with the sonic boom that gets sent out from Big Mama, people don't know where to take it. You need to just plant somewhere immediately and let people move away. They're not going to stand in it, I can guarantee you. So if you just stay somewhere that is safe for you with the silence circle that comes out from Big Mama, then the people will move, trust me. But when you start adjusting last second, that's when you clip people and get people killed. So that's important as well. With Swampface, this is really important. Something you'll see in this pool, and I had to type it out mid pool on the boss. Our healer was liking to stand off to the side and bait the big lane that you want to always go left on. Baiting that lane, but they were standing off to our clockwise, which is left. So what's wrong with that is sometimes the lane will get like put directly to your left, but you'll kind of be in it. But the hard rule is you always go left. But when it's there like that, some people second guess themselves and they'll go right because of that. So I had to tell our healer, like, yo, you need to go to the counterclockwise of us to the right and bait it that way, because then it's much easier to just everybody go left. That's something that has actually killed groups of mine many times, because I'm like set in my ways. I will go left. I don't care where the thing goes. I'm going left, because that's how you keep it consistent. It's streamlining it. So that's one thing to keep in mind. Using your rallying cry on one of the big like wave phases where he pulses and makes the waves come out, because when your healer doesn't have good cooldowns, that part hurts a lot. And yeah, I mean, to be honest, besides that, it's really just making sure that you're using Spell Reflect whenever the big damage is coming out, and impending victory often, in order to stay healed up and give your healer a chance to heal other people. And then on to the last boss. To be honest, last boss isn't that bad.
Rallying Cry in 8.
Giga Zap, you know, just try to keep high uptime. Try not to zap your friends. Make sure that you have the spark going through the water puddles. It's really not all that bad. And lastly, one of the other main things I wanted to mention is skips on this. So it used to be that a lot of tanks wanted to do like, oh, we're gonna skip Bubbles, which now he gets absolutely clobbered when Swampface comes out. So Bubbles is not a skip issue anymore. It used to brick a lot of keys. It was annoying. Happy that's not a thing. Now, a lot of tanks in pugs, you know, they see high key runners do the skip at the end with the two lightning guys that pulse lightning and put circles on the floor. I always try so hard to advise against doing that to my tanks when they submit a route like that. The tank, this paladin, actually wanted to do that this run, and I was like, I don't know, it's really sketchy, because if you get 2 pulses in a key like this, like a 15, it is enough to kill someone that doesn't use the defensive. Your healer can't really heal because they'll take aggro, because the tank's obviously not going to be well, they wouldn't be able to heal the tank, and sometimes it like heals bounce, and then you'd have to be a good healer to really, you have to really know what you're doing. You can, but typically, like I was saying, if we're gonna do that skip, we need a mass barrier when we go through, because 2 pulses will kill someone, and it can brick your key. And the worst thing is when you have a great run, but you're doing a skip at the very end, and you go to skip, and even if you just killed them, you'd still have like multiple minutes left, and you brick it because the skip goes wrong. So you don't have to like rage quit the key or something at the beginning, but I would just advise against like, hey, we could probably just do this without the skip. But the skip is possible. I've done it many times. It's pretty easy on Warrior. We just use Spell Reflect and leap past them when the tank pulls them off to the side. But for others, it's a decent bit difficult. So just keep that in mind. As far as how this dungeon itself goes, it just feels amazing with Slayer. Like, this boss is so fun to just pump on, especially with Lust. The packs feel great. The single target on Swampface feels great. I love Floodgate. I've always really, really liked it, but it is pretty difficult right now. It's a long dungeon. The bosses are pretty tough. Big Mama is a hard tank check, making sure that they use their defensives. So this is by no means like an easy dungeon to pop off in for a group. Like, you're gonna fail this dungeon sometimes for sure. But for Warrior, it feels amazing. I think that now that Halls and Ara-Kara both got like some adjusting and sound like they're pretty straightforward. I didn't get to run them yet, but I did get a 16 Ara-Kara from this, so I'm gonna give it a shot. But now that they've been adjusted some, I honestly think that Fury is just in a great spot to just dominate these dungeons. Our damage profile is so good for them. It's pretty crazy. So our current state, I'm loving it, and I hope you guys enjoy this run. I think something like a spirit flowed through me and played for me, because I don't know how I played out of my mind with damage on this one. If we had a druid, so I had Mark of the Wild instead of like the mage, would have had even more damage, probably closer to like 10.5 mil overall. It was good. I was having a lot of fun. So I wanted to do a little bit of a longer commentary on this one, mainly because I think this dungeon's kind of difficult, and I do actually think it's pretty much the most difficult of the dungeons right now, besides Priory. So we'll see how it all shakes out. I wish you all the best of luck in your runs, and if you have any questions, let me know. Thank you all for the support. We are like 10 subs away as of right now from 1,000 subs, which is insane considering, like, I don't know, 2 weeks ago we were at like 400 subs, so I don't know, it's nutty. So I really appreciate all the support. Working on some things, maybe some VOD review videos, stuff like that. Got the Discord server up and kind of set up for people to have discussion in there, ask questions. We were going
Rallying
over
Cry
stuff
in
today. It was a lot of fun. So feel free to join the Discord. It'll be in the description. And like, comment, and subscribe for more content. I'm going to keep pumping out keys, finding new things to put up, and we'll keep having fun with Fury, and we'll ride this wave as long as they let us be meta or like light meta. So thank you all for watching, and enjoy the rest of the run. See y'all next time. I'm out. Peace.
Rallying cry in aid. Rallying cry in A.